With spring kicking in and lots of things starting to happen in the veg garden, I think it's time for a long overdue veg garden tour. So come on, let's have a look. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to my veg garden. It has been a long time since I've made a proper dedicated video just to this space, because really, as you know, if you're a long time subscriber, this got away from me last year. However, look at it at the moment. I've been putting in a lot of work over the last few months and I feel like I've got it back on track. And I've got lots of nice things growing that I really want to show you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a bed by bed tour, showing you everything I've got here, how it's getting on, and giving you a quick update on why I still have grass paths, even though I said that they were going, and also the new hedge, because the new hedge is in, and I'm really excited to show you that as well. So let's start off at the far end of the veg garden, because I'm going to show you my brassicas. Okay, so I have got to admit that I have not been great this year. In fact, I've not really been great any year. I've been really planned with my sowings so that I really fill that hungry gap that everybody talks about. And I'm sure you saw from the last shot that although I do have lots of nice things growing here, there aren't that many beds that are full of lovely, productive abundance and food. However, I do have two really nice brassica beds and I'm just so pleased with them. I say brassica beds. I also have a couple of stray onions that really shouldn't be there. They were left over from last year when I grew my onions here, and I just don't have the heart to take them out. They can stay there for now. What I have here is one bed of calabrese, or in where I'm from we would just call that broccoli, but it is calabrese, and I thought it was going to be a spectacular failure, and that's because just before Christmas we had this really deep freeze, unusually cold and unusually long for Ireland certainly, where we're generally much more mild and temperate, and I didn't properly cover these, and each one of these plants, and I've got 10 plants, all had beautiful heads all forming. All of them turned to black mush and I was devastated. However, that's what I want to show you. Don't just rip out the plants if that happens. What I did instead was I went along each plant with a pair of secateurs, cut that rotten broccoli calabrese head out, and these will continue to produce. And you can see here, each one of the plants is now producing essentially like purple sprouting broccoli, only green. Lovely little small heads of broccoli that at the moment I'm harvesting and using in stir fries or steaming, and they are delicious. They're fantastic. And then it's not just this bed. These are my purple sprouting broccoli plants, and I'm both happy and not happy with them. So let's get the negative out of the way. I'm not happy because they haven't started producing yet, and really if they're to be a hungry gap crop, they need to start producing. And I'm a bit surprised that they haven't, because I didn't sow them from seed. I bought them as little baby plants, planted them with plenty of time, and they're still just that little bit slow. On the plus side though, they are really lovely, strong, healthy plants. And because both of the brassica beds are netted, they're not covered in pests, they're not chewed up, they're actually doing quite nicely. So I think these just need a little bit more time, and hopefully within a few weeks, I'm going to get something nice to eat, because I love purple sprouting broccoli. Now, on to the next beds, which are my two asparagus beds, because I've got a bit of a surprise to show you. Right, next two beds along are my asparagus beds, and if you've been following me since, well, a couple of years ago when I created the veg garden, you'll know that I created what I thought was a bit of a luxury, two full 8 foot by 4 foot asparagus beds. And asparagus, when you plant it, generally you don't really get any kind of crops or yields for the first couple of years. You want to leave the plants to start to build up and establish. I'm hoping that because this is year 3, I can get even just a light harvest. And put it this way, even if I'm not meant to, I'm going to at least cut a couple of spears to try. I had said that I had put a lot of work into the veg garden. These are the 2 beds that I haven't tackled yet. And you can see that although this one only has a few weeds, this one has a lot. And I'm also paying for a couple of big mistakes that I made. When I planted the asparagus in here, I had the bright idea that I would plant autumn fruiting raspberries in this one and blackberries in this one. Do not do that. Do not make the same mistake I have, because I am continually weeding out lots of little raspberry shoots out of this bed, and I'm continually weeding out bits of blackberry here. I've since moved the plants and they're growing on well. But what I'm really excited to show you is these asparagus plants in particular. The ones in this bed were just bought crowns, but these ones were ones that I grew from seed, and I started them back in 2020. And although they were small plants to begin with and obviously very thin, last year they really took off. And this year, what date is it today? It is the 4th of March. And look, each one of these plants is already springing back into life. We're already getting spears. And that is so much earlier than I expected. I can't wait to try them. Hopefully it's going to be a good year. So what I need to do now is I need to finish weeding this. I'm going to mulch it with some nice compost and manure to really give these plants a boost for the rest of the year. One thing I'm thinking though is I think I've sighted them wrongly. So that's where I want your opinion. Do I just take the hit and accept that this is where they're going to be for their forever home? Or do I dig them up, lift them, move them into a better location, knowing that it's going to knock them back a couple of years? Let me know in the comments. Really interested to get your opinion. I think I know what I'm going to do, but I want to know what you're going to do too. And while you're at it, if you're enjoying this video or any of my other videos, please do make sure to hit subscribe and the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I post my next video with things like updates and great information. So let's keep moving down the veg garden, and I want to show you where we're at with the fruit tree guilds. Now we're getting into the bit of the veg garden that makes me so excited. This is what I really want to be the beating heart of the vegetable garden. Not only the physical centre of it, but the place that just pulls kind of the best of all kinds of growing into the centre, and hopefully pulls people into this part as well, because we're going to sit here during the summer when the weather's nice. You can see that the entrance to the veg garden brings you in here. And the way I'm doing that is I'm going to introduce both ornamentals and growing vegetables and fruits all at the same time. And I'm doing that by creating fruit tree guilds. I made a video a couple of weeks ago all about making a start on that. If you haven't already seen it, links up above. But now you can see we've got 4 fruit trees in place, 4 beautiful eating apples that I can't wait to try in the future. And I've started putting in just a few little plants, a couple of little things that I've treated myself to, a lot of plants that I already had, things like some comfrey plants, there's fennel, there's achilles or yarrows, a couple of rhubarb plants. We've still got the chive plants that I grew last year, or in fact the year before that. They keep coming back every year, and I'm going to keep adding to that. And in another few weeks, I'm going to do a full update video on exactly what you should and how you should plant up a fruit tree guild. This bit is doing just so nicely, and I feel like last year was a really difficult year in the vegetable garden because I wasn't able to give it the time and headspace that I wanted. I was growing bits and pieces. It looked very tired, a bit sad. The grass was overgrown. And really, I just wasn't in love with it. And this year, I feel like I'm pulling it back. I'm pulling it back to what I want it to be. Right, let's keep moving, because I've got even more to show you this way. In here, I've got 2 really lovely little beds that are coming on quite nicely, even though they look a bit plain at the moment. The one behind me has been a proper boom and bust failure. I started a load of really winter hardy broad beans, which are super aqua dulce. When I've grown them before, I've started them in the autumn, planted them out, they've overwintered, and I've got a really nice crop. And it's something that I advocate doing. Guess what? Do you see many there? That's because it was a complete failure. Again, because of that really long, very deep cold snap. I think I had maybe one surviving plant, possibly two. And I thought, well, I'll leave them and I'll see what happens. They did not do well. So they actually got removed, truthfully. I just wasn't even up for trying to keep them going and nursing them through. So instead, this bed has been planted with the second set of broad bean seeds. They went in a couple of weeks ago. They haven't started popping up yet, but I am hopeful that they're going to come through soon. However, it would be quite good if they stayed under the ground, possibly for another 10 days, because we've got another cold snap coming. And what I'm worried about is I'm going to have the same failure a second time. Watch this space. I'll keep you posted. And then this is my latest bed. Actually, earlier on this year, I was growing carrots and parsnips. So although the beds look a little bit empty, I lifted the very last of my parsnips and my carrots a few weeks ago. These are great, these are getting eaten. And in their place, what I've created is a little segregated bed that's boxed off into squares, almost like square foot gardening. It's certainly not a new concept, but I'm going to use this to grow all sorts of little small crops, fast growing crops, high powered crops, where I'm going to have quite a high turnover. I've got two things in to begin with that are really tough and easy to grow early on in the year. And that's radishes, which are French breakfast, which are the kind of longer, more elongated ones. Nice and pink with like a white tip to them. And then in the middle, a little set of turnips, and those are Tokyo Cross. They create lovely little perfect white, almost like golf ball turnips. In the conservatory, I've got loads more seeds going, things like rocket, pak choi, salad leaves, individual lettuces, winter density, which is a Kos lettuce. All of those, I'm going to keep them going for another few weeks, and they're going into this bed. And this, I'm hoping, is going to be a really high-powered bed. One row along from the, hopefully, broad bean bed is the first of two onion beds. You're actually sitting in the second one. It's empty at the moment, and that's because I'm bringing on red onion sets in the conservatory. Once they really start to get going, they're going into the bed. But this bed was planted up in the autumn. I had a bit of success with onions and garlic last year, and that's really spurred me on to keep it going. So in the autumn, I started a load of onion sets, which are the ones that are closest to you. Those are Radar, which is a really typical, well-known, hardy onion variety that's good for overwintering. So I've got probably about 2 to 3 dozen onions there. Then a little strip of, I think it's about 18 or 20 or so garlic plants. They are looking so strong and stocky, much better than last year. They're obviously loving that I've really enriched the soil. And then right in front of me here, I have shallots. I didn't grow shallots last year because I grew them the year before and they were awful. Probably because I didn't do something right, so I'm going to give them another go. So I'm going to have this whole bed dedicated to alliums and another one there, and I think that's going to be great because onions, they are actually very easy to grow, they store really well, and they're a lovely thing to add into your food. Even if it doesn't necessarily save you money, I think it's worthwhile. You might remember that back in the autumn I created what, possibly unsurprisingly, became a bit of a controversial video when I made a video all about how I hate grass paths. In that, I explained why, particularly in the veg garden here, they really don't work for me and why they had to go. And I said I was going to cover it and I was going to lay down either wood chip or gravel or something to get rid of this grass. You may have noticed that it's still green, but that does not mean that I'm going back on my word. It's just that I haven't got to do it yet. Instead, I've gone through the whole place with the strimmer, really cut the grass down nice and short so that I can get the kind of heavy work done first of getting all of the beds mulched and ready for this year. And that's the next thing. Over the next month, I'm not even going to be drawn on a time scale. As soon as possible, I'm going to get that aggregate or wood chip or whatever I decide to use down so that I can get rid of this grass, because it just really doesn't work. As nice as it looks on camera, because I know it adds a lot of colour, in reality it's very patchy. It's weed filled, it gets very muddy and squishy, which means it's not very nice to either walk through or walk on. You also can't kneel on it. So it's going. But there is another change that I had discussed that has happened, and it's over here. Ta-da! We have a hedge. We finally have a hedge. Recently, I showed you what was something I'd hidden for a while, which was that we'd got a large section of hedge removed, which completely opened up the veg garden. And as great as it is, because it brings more light and airflow both into our garden, but also into our neighbours, it left a huge scar on the land that I was far from happy about. And we needed to get a hedge in, and we had to get it in sharpish. And this is what we've got. We have got, it's about 70 metres of hedging put in, and it is brilliant. Although it's small, it creates a really nice boundary. What I've gone with is a standard cherry laurel, and I've gone with this for a load of reasons. The main thing is I need something that's going to work both for myself and for my neighbour, that's going to provide plenty of privacy, that's easy to look after for both of us, that we can grow to a height that both of us are happy with. But I didn't want a fence. I wanted something more natural, and I wanted something that was going to be evergreen. Granted, a lot of people are not fans of cherry laurel. They think they're really bad, but they're not. They're brilliant, brilliant plants, and they're a great plant if you want to put in a nice easy hedge that's going to be easy to maintain, and that you can really pick the height you want, because at this stage we haven't decided how tall this is going to be. I know it's certainly not going to be more than about 7 or 8 feet, but we may decide to have it lower. The nice thing about it as well is it's not going to grow epically wide. So what it's going to give me is a really solid, essentially like a green wall, a green barrier, but without having to go really, really deep again, the way the previous Leyland cypress did. But we also still have what is nearly 8 feet of land, and on our side I'm going to be planting that up. So here in the veg garden, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is extend the veg garden out. There's going to be more beds, more lovely planting, and then as that strip of land runs up the garden, it's going to shift towards planting and just really make it so much nicer. Yes, it's a basic hedge, but it is going to look fantastic, and it's going to do exactly the job that both I need and my neighbour needs it to do. I've got loads of land that I can work with, and what it does is it gives us back a form. It gives back a boundary that we need, and I feel like now I can really work on this space and make it even better. So that's you all caught up with everything that has been happening and is happening in the veg garden at the moment. I hope you really enjoyed having a look around, seeing what's going on. And this year, I'm going to bring you along all the way through the year, showing you exactly what I'm doing, what I'm growing, the successes and the failures. And until next time, see you later.